Ta-da! Welcome to the first Valkyries author interview. I am Marisa Wolf, and I am joined by one of my favorite people in the whole world / oldest writing partner. And I don't mean old because she's old, although I am. I mean old like we've been writing since we were teenagers. Mary McKenna.
Hello.
Yay! So excited. How are you today, Mary?
I'm just fine. How are you?
Technology. So me and technology, we're doing great. We're doing so great. So great. Okay. So we are gonna jump right into some questions, and we will probably get off track because again, I've known Mary since I was 15. And we might have some side conversations. We don't know. Welcome to our joy, friends. But let's get started with Mary. What do you write and why do you write it?
Well, I write mostly fantasy. Maybe we could say that anyway.
You are the boss of what you say, so yes.
I kind of genre skip a little bit here and there. I have a secret desire to write mysteries, but I do them very badly, so nobody's going to see any just yet.
It's practice. Practice will get you there.
But so yeah, mostly fantasy.
Awesome. And why? Why is fantasy your go-to?
Because I like dragons. At the end, that's the answer.
Show your shirt. Show your shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it so much.
I could give some like really intelligent answer. Quote Terry Pratchett, who called it the fiction, and it's the blah blah blah. But really,
He's a genius. Yeah. Dragons are the fiction as far as I'm concerned. That's amazing. Although Terry Pratchett, y'all, does have an amazing answer for the power of fantasy, and I highly recommend you Google it because, man, genius. It's great. That's awesome. And so for folks who might not know, Mary and I have been writing together since we were 15, or I was 15. She's a little younger than I am. Because we did Pern fan fiction, speaking of dragons. And I was so excited about this interview. I've stayed up way too late the last couple of nights reading some of our old stories. And some of them are so good. And, some of them are practice. And just delightful. Oh, dragons. Okay. What do you want people to know about your stories?
These are such hard questions. I have to actually think about them.
I did share them in advance, y'all. I'm not trying to trick her.
Mostly that if you're going to read what I write, you are going to find that bit of fantasy, even in very ordinary stories. But they're almost always about relationships, not romance. There's best friends, lots of best friends. And sometimes it's pets. But a relationship forms a big part of the heart of a story for me.
I love that. And characters, like you've always been so good at writing fully realized characters, like even back when we were teenagers and we weren't fully realized people yet. So yeah, I love the relationships in your stories. So
well,
that's awesome.
I got a lot of practice at it writing with you.
Hey, that's who we are, man. Fan fiction is all about the relationships of all kinds because you're writing about characters and dragons. Awesome. So is there a book? So I will never ask the what's your favorite book question because it's so unfair. But what book do you either love to recommend to people or are you just super into right now?
Charlotte English, and that's English like the country, writes this series of fantasies that are kind of Regency England, but where it intersects with Fantasyland. The series is The Tales of Elfenheim. I love this series. I love to recommend it to people. It's 4 books. They are whimsical and charming, and there's fancy manners, and then there's elves and goblins and stuff.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And they're part of the fancy manners and
and I just love them. And I actually started with book 3 and then went back and read the first 2, but it doesn't matter because they're connected, but they're standalone because each one is a couple, and then it builds the mystery. So
Oh, I love it.
So
Okay.
I totally recommend them whenever I get to recommend books.
Excellent. Excellent. Check it out, y'all. We love good books, good stories. Oh, good stories are the best. Speaking of good stories, look at my segue. So Hit World is an established urban fantasy universe. There are several books out. Y'all can check them out on the place that sells books. And in Hit World, which Valkyries is going to be its own spinoff of, y'all will hear more about it as we go. Everyone in Hit World has some kind of knack or talent, kind of like Piers Anthony, the talents. Like they're not all good talents necessarily or useful, but everyone has one, and it just may be magical in Hit World. So, what would yours be, Mary?
Organization.
Yeah, that checks out. Say more. Tell the people more.
Okay. You have to understand that when I was 16 and we were just getting started in the fanfic world,
Mhm.
my family called me Binder Girl because I had all of my fanfic stuff filed in a binder with little divider things between it, and they were color coded.
Mhm.
And then I got my own computer, and they're in special folders,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
it's broken up by club, and then it's broken up by subject matter inside it. It's kind of amazing that my day-to-day life is as chaotic as it is, but yeah, I organize things.
Again, I've known her since I was 15. I am not organized. This is not a secret, I think, about me or my life. So the number of times I had to ask Mary, what would this date be? What's this deadline? Wait, who were the things that did this thing? And she could find the answer like that. And not only could she find the answer like that, like she enjoyed finding the answer. So if I was like, didn't we once do this thing about whatever? She's like, pause. Bloop, bloop. Yep, it's this. And I was like, what just happened?
It's possible I like organizing a little
Oh,
too
you're
much.
so good at it. Actually, recently, Mary participated in this historical fiction chat on the Twitters, and tagged me in, which was very lovely, because she's amazing. And one of the questions was, "Who's somebody who has helped you develop as a writer?" And so when I responded, even though I'm not writing historical fiction because I'm not detail oriented enough, look, it's a trend. Um, I said that Mary made me better. I'm still not good at it, but better at organization. I would have very few organizational skills if it weren't for Mary. Um, and I did take on inspiration from her my senior year of high school, when I was stage manager for one of our plays, and I had a binder, and I told her about it, and I still remember her being like, "I wish I could see this binder." And it's like, I wish you could too, because you could probably make it better. Um, Wouldn't it be amazing if if that was your magical power and you just kind of snapped your fingers and pulled in the magic and everything around you? It's just
Yeah, that would be. My desk wouldn't look like the disaster it currently looks like if it were.
you see there's a very tight focus here of yeah, don't worry. There's disasters under the camera. It's fine, guys. It's fine. Here we are. All right. We got some speed round questions. We don't have to go speedy though. We can do what we want. We are the bosses of our own time. What if there were to be a theme song playing behind you when you walked into a room, or just a song you really love, what would be that theme song or song that you really love?
Um, you know what? It would probably be some like Enya or Celtic Woman or something. Maybe not a set song, but you'd have that Celtic thing kind of.
Yeah, instrumental flourishes.
Yeah.
I like it. Um, Folks, you should probably know that Mary is an very talented harpist. She can play the harp. They're strings. Like I could pluck it maybe. Do you pluck a harp?
Depends on what kind of harp. If you pluck metal strings, you will hurt your fingers.
Yeah, no, thank you. You had some pretty cool calluses back in the day, yeah? When you
I
were playing
did,
piano?
yeah. I don't have them anymore, but I used to.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Harps are cool. All right. What is your go-to game night choice?
Ticket to Ride.
Nice. That's a fun game.
We have
Uh,
3 board variations for grown-ups, 2 board variations for children, and then we have, like, the online version. We have, like, 7 or 8.
oh, I love that. I didn't even know there was an online version.
Oh, yeah, and you can play with other people on the internet, like your friends and stuff.
That's amazing. Okay. This is good to know. I'm gonna have to do a virtual game night one day. Yes. Okay. If there were a sitcom made of your life, what sitcom would you star in?
Okay, it's not exactly a sitcom, but
You can have a dramedy.
would probably look a lot like WandaVision.
Mm, that would be cool with less grief, more
Well, like, yeah,
joy.
less angst and drama, but it would look a lot like that.
That'd be fun. So you would just kind of hop genres and decade. Oh, I love that.
And magic to solve the problems.
A little bit of fantasy and everything. I love it.
Exactly.
It's a good theme. What is or are your favorite treats for treat yourself?
Cadbury mini eggs. I actually stockpile them during
Year round.
Easter, and then I hide them. And last year, like I found some back in September that I didn't. Well, so in September, I had mini eggs,
Amazing. And they were still good.
and they're still good.
That's amazing. I like this because she's organized, y'all. She probably has a spreadsheet of where she hides them and she just doesn't tell anybody. It's fine. All right. Are you team beach or team mountains?
I love them both, but if I have to pick one,
Mhm.
mountains.
Ah, ah. Okay. So you get a house in the mountains. I'll get a house near the beach and we'll just
Be happy
visit.
together.
Yes. I like it. Favorite pizza toppings?
People are gonna hate me. People are gonna hate me.
Oh no. It's controversial. Okay, go ahead.
Ham and pineapple.
Oh, actually knew that. That's amazing. You know, so I once had a pizza with pear and gorgonzola, and by once I mean several times, and some other stuff. And I was like, this doesn't belong on a pizza. And then I ate it, and I was like, this 100% belongs on a pizza. So I can't judge pineapple. That's amazing. I mean, the internet will judge. I will not judge. Um, what fictional character would you choose as a mentor?
Polgara from David Eddings.
Oh, I only read these books because of Mary BT Dubs. Uh-huh. What would you most want to learn from her?
How to be strong and confident and still sound like a lady when you're cutting people to shreds.
She can already do that. Okay. Are you a morning or a night person?
More of a morning person, but if I have to, I'll be a night person.
Yeah, fair. All right. So those were some introductory who is Mary McKenna, one of the Valkyries authors, questions. Now we're going to talk about her Valkyrie. So, as you will all know soon, we are doing the spinoff of Hit World called Valkyries. It's going to be kind of a spy versus spy, urban fantasy, anything goes, interdimensional shenanigan universe. And so this anthology we have coming out this summer will be the introduction. It's going to be the phase one of Valkyries, where you will meet a bunch of the Valkyries before they become Valkyries. So, Mary, how would you introduce your Valkyrie?
Well, Mal is a bit of a character, isn't she?
She is a delight.
I guess the best way to introduce her is just to say what's in the first line is she's a cat burglar, and she is not at all modest about that fact.
Mm-mm. A delight. She is an utter delight. Okay, if you had to describe her in just 3 words, what would be your 3 words to describe her?
Competent, confident, and creative.
Nice. The 3 C's. I like it. She's so great. What inspired the development of your character and or your story? You can either way.
Okay, so to explain it, I got to go back a step.
Mm-hmm.
I have taken some writing lessons from Dean Wesley Smith, and one of Dean's things that he harps on all the time is don't go for the low-hanging fruit. Don't go for the low-hanging fruit. Don't take your first idea, because that's the thing everybody else is also writing.
Smart, yeah.
Okay, so I threw out a couple of ideas, although I still think the librarian has potential. But I kind of stumbled on what would be useful to the team,
Mm-hmm.
which the librarian would not have been very useful.
Maybe.
And got started wondering about how to write a cat burglar who is not a femme fatale. She's not Catwoman as much as I love Eartha Kitt's Catwoman.
So great.
Now,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
not the femme fatale seductress type.
Mhm.
She's not the waif like, petite childlike thief type.
Mhm.
Just how could I write one that was not those things?
Mhm.
And that was where I got started. And then it sort of spiraled when I added art theft, and I don't know, things kind of got out of hand.
They did not. They were delightful because didn't you do a couple of hours of research on how to steal a
Oh
particular
my
painting?
gosh,
Don't
I
worry,
read
FBI. She's a
so much
writer.
stuff about stealing. Well, not about stealing art,
Mm.
because there isn't actually that much visually on the internet.
Super weird. Yeah.
But I found this conservation website for some Canadian museum organization talking
Mhm.
about what kinds of brackets you use on paintings and how they're
Mhm.
held in the frames and stuff. And oh my gosh, yeah, I read so much about it.
It's pretty great. We had to reassure, several agencies that just a writer, we're just writers. Don't worry about
I'm still not entirely positive that the FBI's art theft department isn't
it.
going to show up.
Yeah. Don't worry, you'll see the book. It's a real story. That's amazing. Maybe the art department will the art theft department will buy the anthology and let's see how you did.
That would be nice.
Do that, FBI. Awesome. What actor or actors would be perfect to play one of your characters? I mean, ideally, you're Valkyrie, but you could talk about anybody.
Well, I don't actually have that many characters in the story. It's but I'd probably go with Anne Hathaway. Is pretty close to
Yeah,
than her.
I could see that. Oh, that would be great. That would be great. Have your people call our people. Okay. I love it. So what is your favorite thing about your choice? Hit World, your Valkyrie, or badass ladies in fiction in general?
Well, my favorite thing about Hit World is that I just don't always know what's coming next. I think I know, and then pow, there's something else. Occasionally with a literal pow.
Fair. Yes. Lots
Um,
of Batman references. You're welcome.
what I love about Mal is just that she's just so much fun. I mean, it's just fun to write her, and
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to at some point getting to write a real proper heist story, sliding down ropes and laser, the
People in
whole
her
bit.
ears.
Yeah, the whole bit. I have no idea what the story would be, but I want to do one.
A heist. It's going to be a heist, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stay tuned for more Valkyries, guys. I love it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just for writing badass women, I like to write all the different types of strength. It's
Mhm.
really easy to get locked into a strong woman, wields a really big sword or a really big gun, world dependent. And, I like writing about all the other kinds of strength that can come with being a woman, that you
Yes.
can be crafty, you can be smart. Sometimes it's, in my other novel, it's about being just competent and
Mhm.
being feminine. And that can be a strength too. And I just like to write all of those.
I love it. I love it. And you do it very well, which is nice. All right. Bonus round questions. What should I have asked you about that I didn't?
Mm, I don't know. You
What
ask
other
really tricky questions.
what other books do you have out that people should check out? Like that kind of question.
Well, there is that question, and funny enough, I have an answer to that question.
Weird. Go for it.
I have my first novel, which is Lady of Ravensmere, and is historical fantasy,
So
sort
good.
of, more or less. I had one person tell me it reads like young adult, and another person tell me it reads like women's fiction. So,
Genres are made up. It's fine. Yeah. Go
so
for it.
it's something in there.
Yeah.
And I also have a book of Christmas short stories out,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which, okay, it's April right now, so maybe not Christmas.
This will probably come out in May, which is basically July. Christmas in July is fine. Yeah. Go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Same. Same. Same.
So there's, book of Christmas stories.
Nice. I love it. And where can people find those things?
Basically wherever books are sold. Unless you're in Canada, you cannot buy them from Chapters.
Good to know. These are
but
important things.
basically everywhere else that books are sold.
And we will include links when we post this for folks to find you. So
Mhm.
your newsletter sign up,
Yes.
or any of those things. Make sure we have those, and they should be in the comments right under wherever you're watching this. And if not, because you're watching this on some other place, click through, and then there should be links there too, and it'll be great. What question do you have for me?
Okay, it's a trick question.
Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah, I didn't get these in advance, y'all. Okay.
If it were up to you,
hmm
how many books would we write in the Valkyries series?
Oh God, forever. We would have them forever. So not a trick question, because one, it is a little bit up to me, and also you all as the readers. So I my very first short story was published in the Four Horsemen universe, also out by CKP. And they're at about 75 books at the time of this recording. And I say about because it really might be 76 or 77, but it's in the 70s. Um, and I think we could do a whole lot of Valkyries. So I think our goal is just going to be to catch up to the Four Horsemen. So we'll see.
Okay.
But there are definitely, I think we're probably going to break them into seasons, or phases if we wanted to get inspiration from the MCU. And so, phase one, season one, will be sort of the introduction of the problem and the big issue. And then there should be resolution anytime you have a storyline. So after that resolution, I'm already starting to think about the kind of fun things that we could do. And the beauty of having multiple authors come in and play in this spin-off with me, is I get to use all these brilliant minds, to be a part of the plotting and the planning and see where you'll want to take it. So maybe we'll have a whole season of heist novels. Who knows?
Hey, that would be fun. That works for me.
Right? You'd be ready to go. I love it. All right. What else should we tell people about you before we go?
Let's see. I'm lousy at social media, so if you want to find me there, you should look for me on Twitter, where you might hear a lot of complaining about very bizarre Disney polls because I like to vote in them and then complain about how people vote for the wrong things.
Okay, checks out.
And it's possible you might hear me talk a lot about Notre Dame football and F1 because those are my sports.
That's pretty great. That's awesome. Yeah, for folks who don't know, Mary is basically a Renaissance woman, like in the now times. So she's got a fencing background. As we mentioned, she can play the harp. She's got a law background. She's got some connections to the world of the military warfare. She doesn't write it, but she could if she wanted to. Um, and then this sport, like, man, talk to her about college football sometime because she can just dig right in there with you. You might get in a fight. I don't know. Not a physical fight because you don't want to fence her, but it's pretty great. She knows a lot of things, and she is a delight. And thank you for joining us today, Mary.
Thank you so much for having me.
Gosh, I'm thrilled to have you. So we will close out with the same thing that we opened with, unless I just broke it, which is possible because I should not be trusted with technology like ever.
We'll cross our fingers.
I mean, yeah, nope, it's just not going to work. So we will not close out with the slide that we started with, but you could rewind to the beginning. Go ahead and look at it. This has been Hit World Valkyries with Mary McKenna. I'm Marisa Wolf, and we will catch you next time. Thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye.